Hey guys, Discord. This released a few days ago. There ended up being a new update as of recording this, though I cannot see the patch note for it yet. So if nothing else, I will try to film that. So I will try to film a video on the new patch as soon as I can see it. But today I'm ready to the 9.3.2 bug fix patch. I did when the day this came out. I did update my game, and I did scroll through the thing just to see how long it would take for me to like scroll through it all. This is lengthy. This is just a simple bug fix patch, but it's lengthy, from what I remember. So I'm gonna do what I can to just uh, get through it for you guys. So let's just start. Let me just kind of quickly show you guys. So this is just me scrolling a little slowly. It's not horrible. Dang, that was November. See, it's not horrible, but it is lengthy. Yeah, there's just nothing about it. But yeah, so the important. This is unique, so I will definitely read it. So it says the breakdown and wicked perks have been re-enabled. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't fully know why these perks were disabled. What I do know is I think one of them had a good synergy with something else, and I forget the specifics with Darren. Orange has mentioned this to me. This was like a number of weeks ago. I want to say around when they did like a community live stream thing that I didn't even know was happening, so I didn't get a chance to really watch it. According to Orange, I forget which one it was. He might leave a comment on this video. Maybe. I don't know. He hasn't done that much lately, but he might. One of those perks, I remember one of those perks, I remember he was concerned about, like, the reason why it was, like, good and kind of needed to be disabled. And the weird thing to me that confused both of us was this: they decided to kill switch. I think it was Wicked, but they didn't touch Breakdown like at all. Meaning that for like a brief bit of time there, a couple of weeks, I think week or two, you could use Breakdown, but you couldn't use Wicked because Wicked was kill switch, and then they randomly like re-enabled, and by re-enabled they of course mean Wicked, but they also with this update it like brought the changes to both of the perks. You just only one of them was just kill switch, and it was just kind of weird that they didn't at the very least kill switch both of them or something, or they also. Orange mentioned this to me, and I'll make this a very quick citation. Orange mentioned to me that during the live stream, because he actually watched it, that apparently one of the employees said something about a bug fix patch getting this, and he was told by a different employee that it was actually the next patch, which I know kind of frustrated Orange as well, just because they didn't say why it would take two bug, it wasn't the next bug fix patch, it was the one after it, at the time of the stream. And yeah, the whole thing has just been weird. They've really dropped the ball hard this year, and I'm I'm just kind of hoping that they do figure out something to recover, but we'll see. Good old contents. We got killer updates. So we got the Skull Merchant. So increase the undetectable duration to 8 seconds, was 6. Deoccupied the undetectable status effect from deploying a drone. Gain undetectable when recalling a drone instead. I think I remember Orange saying something about that. And to be honest with you, when he was explaining the situation to me, I just got more frustrated. I really don't want to go on like too long of a rant or whatever because I know that's not why you guys came here for. But the quick TLDR rant is Orange explained to me because during the PTB that happened a number of weeks ago as of recording this, they gave us some Skull Merchant changes, but it wasn't the rework that they promised us originally that we would get towards the end of 2025 here. And Orange told me that in that community stream, because again I didn't get to watch it because I was so busy. So Orange did watch it, so I'm kind of just going off of what he said, and he told me that people were asking about her, and they straight up said that they didn't want to do the rework. is essentially what they said. And by not do the rework, they tried to word it all fancy, right? They tried to word it all corporate, all like not assuming. Because I believe what they said was something like they wanted to see if they absolutely needed to do it. And obviously, me and Orange, and I'm sure some others, I just know at least the two of us felt this way about the whole thing. We were just very frustrated and kind of made us a little bit more angry in a way because we were expecting the rework and we were excited for it. There were some there were some really interesting ideas in that rework. And also, this is a killer that if you try to leave her as like just a killer that can track via her drones, she's very limited in what she can do. And there's certain versions of the character, right, that are more for drones. There was like a time where she was the free jetting queen and people hated her. And I think she still suffers from some of the hate from that period, still a little bit. Maybe not fully, but I think some people still antagonize her because I kind of guilty of doing it too every so often. I do apologize, Skull Merchant, but I want what's good for you, and I don't know if this is it. I'm hoping these changes are good. Like getting untouchable one and calling a drone definitely sounds interesting, especially because when you like deploying a drone, I can understand that not like that's kind of whatever. I think recalling a drone is kind of a good idea because uh, in the off chance that something happens to you or whatever, right? I think recalling a drone is just kind of an interesting way to do it. I would love to hear thoughts from like better players than me because I'm not very good and I'm also very busy, so I haven't really had as much time to play. I try to play with I'm trying to kind of play with Orange during events, and then that's kind of it, just so that way we can at least get the event stuff and experience, the event together. But otherwise, I think the two of us are kind of just trying to kind of slow down with the game just a little bit for the time being, just because I know I'm incredibly busy, so I don't have as much time anyways, and he has other things he wants to do as well and whatnot. But yeah, I really hope Skull Merchant gets better. I really I like the idea behind her. I like some of her outfits and whatnot. But I don't want to try to like play her because she's not very good right now. Um, and the other, getting undetectable for longer, I think, is also nice because you kind of needs. She kind of needs. I feel like I personally feel like she needs more than this. But again, I'm not fully an expert on her. I'm just kind of going off of like what Orange just told me and some things I've heard here and there. But yeah, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments over Skull Merchant because she's kind of the killer that's probably been on my mind the most lately, just because of the fact that they've been touching her again and the fact that they don't seem to want to do the rework and they kind of threw the thing they promised us out the window and then kind of acted like nobody would like remember it, which was kind of weird. But I don't want to just keep rambling about Skull Merchant because there is other things in this patch. So I'm gonna move on real quick. We can circle back to Skull Merchant, I guess, if we need to. Survivor perk update. So breakdown. Anytime you are removed from a hook, escaped, or saved, the hook breaks and the killer's aura is shown to you for 4, 5, 6 seconds. A hook broken by this perk takes 180 seconds to respawn. Reverted to this version. Because breakdown had like its PTB like effects still, I think, but then they like changed it to this one. I don't have an issue with breakdown personally. It's not the best perk ever in my opinion, but I do like it. I do like the idea behind breakdown. I think in certain cases it's helpful. If someone like unhooks you and you're dealing with kind of a face camping killer or whatever, even if they down you like shortly after, they won't be able to use that hook again for a while, so they have to like take longer to get you to a different hook. And then we have Wicked. Your self unhook attempts in the basement always succeed. When you are unhooked or unhook yourself, you see the killer's aura for 16, 18, 20 seconds, reverted to this version. And again, that was the one that was kill switched. I don't know exactly what they mean by reverted to this version. I think the things that they reverted them to, I think are like, they might just be the live versions we had before the PTB, but I could be mistaken. Either that or it's like a tweaked version of the perks that happened sometime after the ones that I'm thinking of, which is also possible. Archives and events. The Bone Chill event returns Tuesday, December 9th, 11 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, so that actually happened, I think, in my region 2 days ago, which I believe is when this released, actually. This, and at least in like where I am, released the same day, funnily enough, that the event dropped, which is really interesting to think about. Environment/maps. Palette density changes. I vaguely remember them talking about this in the PTB, but I don't really remember like actively paying attention to it and like to like the past, because I kind of forgot about it when I was making my PTB videos. Reevaluate it. Adjusted palette lips on Outhaven Records, Backwater Swamp, Curtis Prent Asylum, the Macmillan Estate, Ormond's Red Forest, and Yamaka, or however you're supposed to pronounce it, Estate. These changes include adjust the length of loops that were too short and unsafe, prevented palettes from spawning against certain small objects, creating short and awkward loops, reviewed palette randomization on certain tiles to provide more spawn variation. Developer note, we've done another pass on palette tiles and loops in order to find a middle ground between the last two updates. We will be closely monitoring the impact of these changes as we collect data and continue to adjust to find a sweet spot that feels great for both roles. I mean, I hope they succeed, but at the same time, it's like, y'all, like, they really dropped the ball to the point where anything they've really are hoping to do this year, I'm kind of worried about. If the game does, like, rebound from all of this, I would be so happy. I want to definitely to rebound. But we'll see what they do. You know, they are constantly working on the game. They, as everyone knows, are like, it's a joke based on truth, to an extent. I think it might just be like an inside community joke, but it's rooted in truth, and that is the fact that that they don't play their own game. The live stream they did with Chandler Riggs, which apparently you just can't view anymore. I learned that from a video Orange sent me. But apparently good old Chandler, the good old, yeah, during that live stream with Chandler Riggs, like, it was revealed that a ton of the developers haven't updated their games in like years. And I think that's kind of a good and bad thing, in the sense that it shows, I feel like it does show that they are working hard in the game, you know. They're working so hard on the game that they don't have time to play it themselves. But at the same time, and I think this is a huge drawback of that as well, is that because they don't play their own game, they don't fully understand all the problems players run into. So then it takes live streams where they are actively where they're actively like watching and seeing gameplay of their own thing they themselves created, which has led to some changes. And as far as I'm aware, they never did apologize to us Darva for that live stream. I know they apologized to Chandler, but they didn't apologize to us Darva. And I know a lot of people like basically were like in like YouTube comment sections when not yelling about how they should, because he had an idea to try to help some of the issues they were having, and he just wasn't allowed to like do it. And I guess they kind of tried to get all sweet talky on the situation. I didn't get to see the stream, but I know. But Orange just kind of explained parts of it to me like later on. Bug fixes and audio. Fix an issue where the Deathslinger's power emitted static SFX from the survivor POV. Fix an issue where the chase SFX of the cannibal could be heard globally throughout the map. Fix an issue where a sound alert played when the Knight's guard summon path creation reached 75% instead of 85%. Fix an issue where Vittorio Toscano's Geralt of Rivia outfit's chase start voiceover could be triggered at the same time as the animatronic performed an axe grab. Fix an issue where the unknown's voiceover layers were desynchronized. Fix an issue where entering and exiting the game credits replaced the Killer Survivor music. Fix an issue where players emitted no sounds after quitting a trail for the match details menu. Yeah, trial, because that makes sense. I'm having a hard time reading sometimes. Characters, and this is usually a beefy section. It looks like it is. This or environment / maps. The next section are looks to be pretty lengthy. So without further ado, let's knock out these lengthy sections. If I have anything interesting to add along the way to talk about, I will definitely do so. But I definitely want to get through reading these, and then we could get to some shorter sections, get to the final thoughts. And then, yeah, we'll be good to go. Fix an issue where multiple characters had bright white hair when standing close to some light sources. That's an interesting idea. I feel like I've seen, because from what I remember, I want to say the light sources are supposed to just kind of shine on you. I don't think they're like, because in real life, if you take a light source, technically, especially depending on certain light sources, and you kind of shine it on you, like on somebody or whatever, or like walk through it if it's the sun or like a loop or a light in the roof or whatever. Traffic light, well, not traffic light, but the big lampposts, like outside, not the traffic light. Number of other things. When it shines on you in real life, you know, it does kind of like brighten you a little bit in certain spots and whatnot. But it doesn't really do enough of that to truly matter, if that makes sense. So it's just interesting that's an issue where multiple characters have it. It just kind of makes me think, just kind of makes me curious what specifically would like trigger that bug, that little bug, you know? Fix an issue where some survivors' animations do not play correctly when infected by the plague's vile purge. That's interesting because I know your idle, or not, yeah, your idle when you're just standing there changes to the character like vomit, trying to like hold in vomit, you know? I think they do actually vomit a little bit as well. And I know if you run, your running animation changes to also I think holding in vomit, but also vomiting as you run. And then there's like some other things that get changed as well. Fix the issue where the Deathslinger wouldn't display a rifle aiming animation from the survivor POV. Fix the issue where Trevor Belmont's Richter Belmont legendary outfit will not play its idle animation properly. If I remember correctly, the Richter Belmont skin is fairly recent. I think that was added via the Castlevania X Silent Hill 2v8. So the last 2v8 they did as of recording this. And I remember seeing the skin after I think seeing some people like somewhere, I forget where, but seeing some things somewhere of people being whatever about the outfit. And when I looked at the outfit, it was immediately like, ah, that's what those words meant. Because I didn't fully understand like what they meant by like I think they were saying something about like a baby face and like a number of other things. And yeah, no, I kind of agree in a way because the Richter outfit just looks weird, especially compared to like what I'm used to Richter looking like, which is the Richter from Super Smash Bros. And I've also seen gameplay of like brief gameplay, like little things of some of the games that he's in. And again, when I think of Richter, I think of those depictions because those depictions look fine. They're literally just the character model after all, just maybe updated graphically and whatnot. But in this game, it's a skin over Trevor, and Trevor and Richter do not look the same at all, granted. So it makes sense that it would look weird, but like I feel like Gabriel Soma, or what I forget what his first name actually is. I've always just called him Soma. It's like what Soma Cruz or something. I've always just called him Soma, so I'm just gonna keep doing it. But the Soma outfit for Trevor looks fine in my opinion. That's an outfit that I think looks good over Trevor. Whereas I guess Richter kind of looks weird. It kind of sucks. I'm having some issue with Richter as well, apparently. But they maybe fixed it. Fix an issue where the animatronic would not smile when getting ready to throw an axe. Fix an issue where the animatronic's axe was briefly misaligned when hitting an unhooked survivor. Fix an issue where the security camera HUD could appear when another player used a security camera when playing against the animatronic. Fix an issue where the animatronic's axe could trigger multiple score events when it passed near a survivor. Fix an issue where the animatronic's reclaim axe action became available too quickly when the axe was embedded in a survivor. Fix the issue where the animatronic could not hook a survivor after grabbing them at the exit gate. That's definitely a good one to fix. Fix the issue where Jane Romero's Home at Last outfit did not have physics. Interesting word choice there. I always forget what outfit that is. I'm curious what they mean by did not have physics, because I mean, I'm aware, right, of what the physics in this game are normally are, at least to an extent. So I'm curious what it looked like. Like, I'm assuming it was missing certain physics or something, but I don't know what. Because I didn't know that was an issue. Nor do I ever remember what outfit that is on top of my head. Fix issue with the sleeve of the Doctor's Fire Moon Doctor outfit, which stretched at the end of the static blast animation. That's an interesting one. That one's just kind of whatever, you know, it's just like, but very strange, for sure. Fix an issue where Nia Carlson's tank top would warp while interacting with objects. That's interesting. Fix the issue where the Hellmaster's dog could get stuck after being sent to vault a window or pallet. Fix the issue where the Hellmaster's dog had a weaker pull when grabbing onto a survivor if their game was running at a lower FPS. Oh, that would probably affect me then. I really hope that's actually fixed, because that actively would affect me then, because I have ways of playing this game at better FPS, but the way I primarily play it nowadays unfortunately doesn't have great FPS, so that probably would actually affect me. So that's a huge W if it's actually fixed, and I keep saying that because Orange sent me like a great video a while back, and they mentioned that in some of these they've mentioned, you know, so and so little bug got fixed, but it's not actually fixed, and it was still causing problems. So that kind of sucks. Fix an issue where the survivor's animation would break when being pulled by the Hellmaster's dog. Fix an issue where the Dark Lord has 2 caves during his Mori preview. Fix an issue where the knight could fall out of world when being stunned by a pallet immediately after stunning a guard. Fix an issue where the knight's guards would not display their generator break animation when the entity spikes started appearing. Fix an issue where the entity spikes were missing on the 4th generator break when using the knight's guards to damage the generator. Fix an issue where there was input delay when the knight ordered a guard to destroy a nearby wall or pallet. Fix an issue where the survivor could become invisible to spectators in custom game when switching the view to a survivor while the night was ending a patrol path. Fix an issue where Victor was invisible during the Twins Mori when Victor's return was on cooldown. Fix an issue where the skill merchant's adaptive lighting add-on did not increase the untouchable stats effect. Fix an issue where the Huntress could hit 2 survivors at once with Agile. That's kind of funny. I mean, I guess somewhat realistic, just because there are things like certain guns and whatnot that could go through multiple people. And the reason why I say somewhat realistic is because I guess it's probably technically possible to like have an hatchet be thrown and go through multiple people. The problem with that, though, I would imagine, is obviously strength, right? Like weight of the hatchet, you'd probably need a pretty good, decently heavy hatchet, maybe. I know weight would definitely be a factor into it, but also like the person throwing the hatchet would have to have like pretty good aim and trajectory and whatnot, and also definitely would have to kind of throw it in such a way that gives it like the best chance to do that. So what I think it's like loosely possible. Um, it's good to fix that because that's not something that's supposed to happen in this game. You're not supposed to just be able to whip out a hatchet and nail 2 people. You know what I mean? So, fix an issue where survivors were not revealed by Killer Instinct during the Legion's Feral Frenzy when a transferred tear radius. Fix an issue where the Spirit's hands took up more space on screen when the FOV setting was at 987. That's interesting. Alright, so we got for the first big section, and yeah, just like always, like little bug fixes. Some of them matter more than others, but there's just little character bug fixes, and they all matter to an extent, but like some of them affect gameplay, like overall, more so than others, and like your abilities and whatnot. And now we're on to environment/map. Okay. I guess let's say the environment/maps overall as a section is usually pretty dense material. Dense. They seem to have a lot of bugs and whatnot with maps. These sections are always like very dense. It feels like, especially when you're reading it. But yeah, so let's just get through this so we can get to things that might be a bit more like interesting overall and actually maybe affect gameplay a little bit more overall. We'll see. I have no idea what's past this. Even though I've scrolled through it multiple times, my brain just did not pick up on that at all. Fix an issue in the Forgotten Ruins map where the nurse could blink out of bounds near the astronomy room. And that's something I remember mentioning in a past patch note video that I definitely want to mention this one since they brought it up again. I keep hearing these stories, right? I keep reading that Nurse is able to blink out of bounds in certain maps or certain parts of maps or whatever. My question has always been, what does that look like? I still haven't actually seen what gameplay wise, what that looks like for the Nurse and also the individual players, and I would love to someday see it. Like be sent a video from somebody or something, because I really am curious what that looks like. Fix an issue in the ironworks, but it's a good thing to fix because if the killer's no clipped through a wall.
Thanks. This year,
Oh, so
there are 40 exciting new iPhones to choose from, including
stupid. Just because it's just it's. I mean, do you just like win by default at that point as a survivor? Like, can the nurse even get back in? Like, I have no idea. But that's a huge problem with gameplay. And that is technically environment related, but it's also just due to how Nurse's power just works, I feel like. Her power is something that is kind of complicated, so it makes sense to me that she could have obviously problems like that, but also that it can like expose problems in the code and whatnot that allows for it to happen just due to the nature of it. Fix an issue in the Ironworks of Misery map where characters couldn't navigate between a wooden spool and rock. Fix an issue in the coal tower map where the nurse could blink onto the ledge of the building and navigate through collisions. That one just is complicated. I mean, I'm pretty sure that ledge. I forget if that ledge would be too. I forget if it's too high or not. But what I can tell you is that the idea through that the part of it that says through collisions, the wording confuses me because I don't fully understand what they mean. In a way, you could argue every character moves through collisions because you know, there's technically collisions, that are happening to like help you move. But I get that they're different collisions than what this is probably like, than what this problem is probably, you know, dealing with. Oh, hey, the boy is, the boy is on Steam. I doubt we'll play together. I mean, I did see him earlier. We watched a whole bunch of Dragon Ball movies because I got some of those box sets, but that's a story for another time. Fix an issue in the Macmillan Estate realm where a generator could not be interacted with on one side. Fix an issue in the Dead Dog Saloon map where the ghoul would incorrectly bounce off certain objects. And honestly, Kaneki is just broken right now. It's interesting how the first anime killer we got, like, challenged the idea just due to how they work, that of Nurse and Blight being the best killers. They also have like some bugs and like some little annoyances that definitely need to be nerfed that are like helping them achieve that, but still an accomplishment, I guess. And then fix an issue in the Macmillan's estate realm where a character could spawn inside a rock. That is also that's incredibly funny sounding to read, don't get me wrong, but that's something you definitely want to fix. And just because I'm assuming if you spawn in the rock, you're probably not able to play much or do a whole lot, maybe? At least to an extent. So that's definitely a good fix. But it is kind of funny to think about that was like a thing. Fix an issue in the Gas Haven map where purple placeholder objects were visible during Mori's. That makes me think of like you're getting Mori's just as an example, and you just see like the Gmod like purple and black like checkered pattern on stuff. I get that this game is different than Gmod, so it's probably just like a straight purple asset or something like that. But yeah. And then fixation, the Midwich Elementary School map where the survivor's camera would become misaligned after being hit by one of the night guards in the courtyard. I feel like that map has had a number of issues over the years, but always like well, for the most part, little bugs. There are the occasional big bugs, you know, that definitely need patching on every map, but it's also just a lot of small bugs, a lot of times. Fixed an issue in the Mount Ormond Resort map where the knight's camera could be misplaced when summoning a guard on the chalet's stairs. That's a good thing to fix for sure, because you don't want your camera to be misplaced, like when you're using your power, you know, as knight. Like, the camera is pretty important to get putting the character, right, the guard, where you want them to go. Fix an issue in the Tobo Landing map where a collision with a small tree would interrupt the Hillbilly's chainsaw sprint. Fix an issue in the Dead Dog Saloon map where survivors could not vault off a balcony. Fix an issue in the Mount Ormond Resort map where a placeholder tile would appear. Fix an issue in the Garden of Joy map where the Knight's guards could not navigate properly around the door of the shack. Fix an issue in the family residence map where players could land on top of certain objects. Fix an issue in the Garden of Joy map where the salt circle would not appear in the basement when using an invocation perk. Fix an issue in the Nostromo wreckage map where survivors' bodies would clip out of a locker when entering. Fix an issue in the Yamaka estate realm where the twins Victor could navigate under the small shrine structure. Fix an issue in the underground complex map where only one dream palette would appear for the nightmare. Fix the issue in the Azeroth's resting place map where generator flood lights clip through a building roof. That's interesting. Fix an issue in the Greenfield Square map where survivors could get stuck next to a hook in the feeder. Fix an issue in the Grim Pantry map where collision on a wall was missing. That's definitely good to fix. If collision is missing from something, like straight up just missing from something, that causes a lot of issues. So that is something that I 100% think that fixing is a good idea. Because fix an issue in the Azeroth's resting place map where a generator could not be kicked on one side, but just also definitely issue. Perks. Fix an issue where there could be multiple obsessions in a trial when using perks that change the obsession. I think that's interesting that I wonder how many times they've had to like fix something like that, just because I feel like given the nature of that, it's fairly complicated code, and I would imagine does lead to bugs every so often. It just makes me wonder. Platforms, fixing issues where players on the same platform couldn't add each other as friends. Oh no. Fixing an issue on PlayStation 5 where DualSense vibration was missing when haptic feedback was turned on. Fixing an issue on Xbox where the game could soft lock. That's a problem. When trying to start the Survivor tutorial before installation is fully complete. Yeah, that's a problem. Fix an issue on Xbox where the user would not be added to a session when joining or accepting a game invite while the game was in a suspended state. Quests, it says fix an issue where unlocking chests challenges when progress when using a key item. Fix an issue where the dates shown on quest would be displayed incorrectly. Fix an issue where healing quests earned progress from recovery while in the dying state. UI fixed an issue where the animatronic's axe icon was missing when a survivor had the axe embedded in them. Fixed an issue where the healing icon stops progressing when healing a survivor from the dying state. Miscellaneous fixed an issue where flashbangs and firecrackers did not blind players who were when used too close to an object. Fixed an issue where the AFK crust would not dissolve properly when disappearing. Alright guys, so final thoughts. Overall, on paper, this does sound pretty good. It's a lot of bug fixes, some mattering more than others in terms of like right away gameplay, with some not mattering quite as much as some other like more pressing matters. I'm still upset to know that they've gone back on their word with Skull Merchant. That they, in addition to not giving us her rework this year, which is something they said that they would do earlier in the year, but that they seem to just be really like dragging their feet through the mud, really not wanting to do the rework for some reason, to not do the rework, which is interesting. But some of these fixes are definitely huge, like Nurse having two pretty big issues, seemingly getting fixed from this is good. I can't remember everything because it's just such a mountain. Because it's just such a mountain of text. You know, it's hard to. But yeah, overall, I feel like on paper, at the very least, this is good sounding. I will definitely monitor like what other people, like say Orange and others, have to say about it before I kind of, just to get an idea of what everybody's thinking. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, ring the bell, do all the aggraphic garbage. It helps us out a lot, and it means a lot to us. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Bye.